It's been busy in Washington, D.C. as nonstop big stories keep coming out.
Yeah, from upcoming elections to the recent legislation, Quad Cities Today has been keeping you up to date on the latest. And joining us now to talk a little bit about what's going on in our nation's capital is Illinois Representative Eric Sorensen. Eric, good morning.
Dustin and Jenna, good to be with you.
Thanks. Well, starting things off, finding common ground has proven difficult lately for lawmakers, but it sounds like your bipartisan flag bill is bridging that gap. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this has been a long time coming, I'll be honest with you. Ever since I first set foot in Washington, the All-American Flag Act, which passed through the House unanimously. So if you want something that is the most bipartisan thing, this is it. I worked with South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace to put forth this bill, which basically says that, our tax dollars that go to the federal government, when the federal government goes and purchases a United States flag, there is no part of it that should be made in any other country. It should be 100% American made by the greatest workers in the world. And so this will go to the president's desk, hopefully as early as next week. It'll be signed into law. And it is really kind of an exercise in what it means if Congress can set aside all of the politics and do what's absolutely right. And, when I took to the floor of the House and I said, what is the most American thing you could think of? Is it the portrait of George Washington on the wall? Is it the Capitol Dome, which we work under? Or is it the flag that it flies behind the Speaker of the House and on every military ship? This is a really big deal.
Yeah, it really is. Now, switching gears now, Eric, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit continues today. Now, he spoke in front of Congress yesterday, and nearly half the Democrats skipped his address. Were you part of that? And what is being said about his presence in D.C.?
Now, I was present in the House chamber. A joint session of Congress is a really, really important thing. But I'll tell you that listening to that address does not mean that I agreed with everything that Benjamin Netanyahu said. And I'll say again, the most important thing that we can do is work as diligently as we can in the United States to make sure that our hostages come home and that there's a swift and peaceful resolution and an end to this terrible war. First and foremost, as being the good neighbor to the people in my district, I take my cues from them. And so I appreciate everyone who has reached out, and that's something that I'm going to continue to do.
And Eric, obviously another big story coming out. Kamala Harris's presidential campaign is now gaining momentum following President Biden's decision to drop out. You were one of the people who suggested that he should drop out. So with less than 100 days until the election, what's that feeling like in Washington now that there's kind of been a shift?
Yeah, again, I didn't come to Washington to play politics. And so, I had to make that really tough decision. That was one of the hardest days of my life. I'm going to be honest with you. Joe Biden is a good man. He has served our country admirably in Washington for the better part of 50 years. But it is time for new leadership. I want the person at the top of the ticket, and someone like Vice President Harris is going to light a fire in us. As we all individually think about what our dreams are for the next 5, 10, 20 years, we need somebody that's going to help us achieve those dreams. I think she is the woman for the job. She has been the vice president. She was a prosecutor. She was a senator. So she's got the pedigree and the resume to do that. And so I'm excited and I'm happy that we are unified today like we probably have never been before. And that's a good feeling.
So would you say that there's been kind of like a renewed spirit? Because it seems like, before people were talking a lot about what's going to happen. Now it seems like there's at least excitement. You've said you back Harris.
Yeah, here's the thing, is we need to get people excited. I remember, I'm one of those people, I've never skipped a vote. All right. And I make sure that I feel something when I vote, being part of the process that we all can take part in is an incredibly valuable thing. Having people sit at home because they're just a lackluster folks at the top of the ticket. No, I want people to feel something. right? And that is the most important thing that we can do between now and November, especially for young people, people that may vote for only the first time for president or maybe the second time. I hope that they feel something different today and that the best days are ahead of us.
All right, Eric, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good to be with you as always.
Need to know